Good afternoon, and thank you for joining me for another office hours training. I'm Crystal L. Gunn, your financial strategist and small business advisor. And part of my job that I love the most is helping you have those aha moments, those self-discovery moments, and helping you see what no longer serves you so that you can release those things in order to thrive. Because all that is where the breakthroughs happen. That's where you start to shift. That's where the magic is, be it in your personal finances or your overall business. So it's Wednesday, and let's talk about some budgeting. Budgeting brilliance, mastering efficient and effective money management. Go back and watch the previous trainings on budgeting. And the last training I did, you added your net income and subtracted your total monthly expenses from that monthly net income. And hopefully you have a positive number. But what happens when you don't? What happens when you go through that and that number is negative, meaning you're in a hole every single month? And you all have heard me talk about the client who was almost $1,000 in the hole every single month. And so what she was doing was, it's that saying, robbing Peter to pay Paul. She's constantly moving money around. She's not paying a light bill this month because she needs to pay something else, or then she's using her credit cards to supplement and pay things. And so then that's why her credit cards were maxed out. So it's really, really important that you know that monthly cash flow. How much money do you have coming in versus how much money that you have going out? So today specifically, I want to talk about when you have more going out than you have coming in, right? So you're in a deficit every single month, or you're right at even, you're par. You have this money coming in and you have that same amount or just a little less going out. And when you're even in those type of situations, if we look at your budget, there's probably some things missing off of your budget, right? And so that you may not have thought about, that's not on there because the money isn't there. So putting money away for traveling, putting money away for retiring, paying for life insurance, things of that nature, that's not on there because you're just making enough money to cover what I call the living expenses. So everything that goes along with putting a roof over your head, everything that goes along with your car, and then those loan payments that you're making, right? So if your expenses are more than your income, you need to immediately start cutting some items from your expenses. Go through each and every expense you have and see where you can delete or cut. So always start with any and everything that goes on inside of the house, right? So if you have rent or mortgage payment, you can't really cut that. You might be able to cut your homeowner's insurance or your renter's insurance, right? Kind of depending on if your credit is now far better than it was when you got the original policy. Go back now and do a look to see if you can decrease that expense. Look at, can you decrease it, right? Look at so that's everything that goes in the house, right? And so my first look always is, what can you just cut out altogether? What can you get rid of? So you can't get rid of that homeowner's insurance, but can you get rid of one of those streaming services, right? So look at all of that HBO, the sports package. I don't know with cable. Um, are you paying for Hulu, HBO, Paramount? You know what I mean? Netflix, and I don't even know all of the other ones because I don't even watch them. Stars, things of that nature. Can you cut rid of some of them? And understanding that some of the things that you may have to just totally come out, it's temporary. And then you may find out that you don't ever want it back, but it might be temporary just so that you can get where you need to be. And I know a lot of times this is where people say, oh, when I think of budget, I think of restrictions. Well, your money doesn't lie, and your money's going to tell you what you can and you cannot do. The goal is to do the things, to do the necessary things so that you can adjust that budget so that you can do the things that you want to do. And some things you may have to cut out for a small period of time. So, I always go back and I ask, what are the things that you cannot justify keeping as an expense? Right? I mean, you can justify and tell yourself whatever you want, but you can't justify it because you don't watch it, you don't use it enough. Is it something that you're paying for and you're not using it often? Or you're paying for the thing, but the benefit of it, it just doesn't balance out, right? Like I do a lot on LinkedIn, but I'm not paying for LinkedIn. Like, and it'll come and tell you such and such reviewed your profile, and or 20 people have reviewed your profile in the last 48 hours, and you can't see who they are unless you pay that subscription. Well, I don't care. You know what I mean? If you view my profile, okay, and if you want to reach out, you're going to reach out. Me knowing exactly who viewed my profile, to me, it's not justification enough, right, to pay whatever that monthly fee is. I don't even know what the monthly fee is, but it's not justification enough for me to pay it, right? So going back and looking at those expenses, what can you not justify keeping? Either because it's costing you and you're not getting a return on that investment, or you don't use it enough. Like, I don't really watch TV, so I don't have all of those. I can't even remember the last time I had cable. I don't have cable. I don't have the HBO, the HBO Max, the Stars, and whatever the other ones are. I have Netflix, Hulu, and Prime because I got Amazon Prime, right? Which I use. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's not whether or not you can pay, doesn't matter how much money you make. It's, should I be giving that money somewhere else where I could put it towards, reallocate it to something else that goes along with what I want and how I want to live the rest of my life, right? So if you can't justify it, I mean, truly justify it, because people will say, well, it's only $9 a month. Well, if you have, 10, only $9 a month, well, that's $90 per month that you could be putting towards something else that really matters to you. That really, you know what, you don't have any life insurance policy. Well, here's $90 that can go towards that life insurance policy, as opposed to these things that you really and truly can't justify spending. And you're giving them the money, and that's right. Should you continue to give them some money? So the first thing is look at those and cut out those expenses all of the way that you cannot justify using, right? And again, justifying is totally up to you. So the second thing is, if you can't totally get rid of it, can you reduce it? So going back to the homeowner's insurance or the renter's insurance or even the car insurance, right? Going back to that look and looking for something less expensive, going back and seeing something different, going back and saying, you know what, I have all of these, I have 7 streaming services. Which ones do I watch the most? I'm not going to cut out all 7, but maybe I'm going to cut out 4 and reallocate those funds somewhere else, right? Um, I have the sports, and I don't even know if this is still a thing. I have this the highest sports package for cable because I love sports. Well, does the one under that give you the same thing that you need? Do you still need the same sports package because you really love football, but you watch basketball every once in a while? So in basketball season, can you reduce the package and then reallocate that money to something else? Um, so some things might not be about cutting them all the way out as opposed to reducing the cost, taking that next level or the next option down that's not as costly, right? So if you can't justify it, totally get rid of it. If you need it, can you reduce the monthly cost of it? Right. And if you can, go about doing that. You reallocate those funds for something else. And then update the new expense amount. And hopefully you're no longer in the negative. But if you are, here's where you have to make some strong decisions. Again, it may only be temporary, but they need to be done. There may be some things that you said, you know what? It's not enough for me to just get rid of 4 of these streaming services. I got to get rid of all but one. It may not be enough for me to get rid of the, just decreasing or getting a lower, you know, sports package on cable. I might need to for 6 months just forego it and cancel it altogether, just so that you can get your finances in order and where they need to be. You know, whatever else it is you're doing, you go out every weekend. Okay, well now maybe you're not going out every weekend, but it doesn't mean that you still can't do the thing at home. So it might be cooking a dinner and having, that bottle of wine at home, as opposed to going out to dinner and having, those drinks that are in the prices are through the roof. So you may have to have a real strong conversation with yourself and make the decisions. You know what? I got to cut back on this stuff. What are the things that are not essential to you operating? And essential really is going to be a thing that for you to decide, right? But you got to get out of the negative. And how do you do that? And again, it may only be temporary, but it needs to be done in order for you to redefine your financial relationship. Because apparently, right, if you're in the negative, your financial relationship is not working. It's not working in your favor. So you need to do the things that you need to get done in order to make sure that you can redefine it so that it works for you. Next week, I'll be training on the next step when your income is more than your expenses. So you've, subtracted your monthly expenses from your monthly net income and you have a positive number. What are the things that you should be doing now? Assigning every one of those dollars a job. That's the next step. So I'll be talking about that next week. So, it's time for my favorite thing. And my favorite thing really and truly is the budget. Like it's where you really start to be able to figure out what's happening in your life. Where are you spending your money? Because I promise you, most people are just spending the money. It's not being spent with intentionality. And it's not, I don't even like to use the word track because tracked means I'm going back and I'm looking at what I've already spent. I'm saying build it so that it works for you going forward. But in order to start to build it, you do have to look at where you're spending your money. So my favorite thing is always, always, always going to be this household budget. It's where I start with all my coaching clients. It sets the foundation. And again, efficient and effective budget. It sets the foundation for you to be able to live the life that you desire and deserve, and not the one that you get after just paying bills, right? And so we know life is about elevation, and it's your elevation, not someone else's. So you're never in competition with anybody else. It's about your elevation, your next step in your journey. And in this one, we're talking about finances. So it's your next step in your financial journey. So I always talk about your next three steps. So the next three steps, download the household budget. If you're seeing this again and you have not downloaded that household budget and started putting the numbers, what's the problem? You're sabotaging your own success. So download the household budget, go back and look at those previous trainings because I walk you through the process because it is our process. I walk you through the process of doing that. So go do that, watch those, and then complete the budget. After that, decrease or eliminate expenses. Now, this is regardless of if you have money left over or not. So when you subtract your total monthly expenses from your net monthly income, you're either going to have a positive number or a negative number. Number two here, it doesn't matter whether the number is positive or negative. If the number is negative, meaning you have more expenses than you do income, you definitely have to do number two. But even if you have money left over, you still need to do number two with those same things, those same criteria. What can I not justify paying for? Don't keep paying for, you got, I don't know, HBO Max because you wanted to watch a movie that came out on HBO Max and you never canceled it. And you've not watched HBO Max since then. Cancel it. Why would you continue to give money to somebody else, right? Reallocate that so that it's working in your favor as opposed to, in this case, HBO Max's favor, right? So again, eliminating the things that don't serve you, eliminating the things that you can't justify using. It doesn't matter whether you can pay for them or not. It's is it helping you to get towards is it helping you to reach your financial goals? Is it helping you redefine your financial relationship? Right? Is it helping you? What's most important to you? Is it paying, you know, this 13, 14, 15, I don't know, $20 per month for this thing that you never even use. And so now you're wasting it versus putting that $20 towards a travel account, putting that $20 towards your child's account. You got a new baby or whatever and trying to set them up. Also, remember, it's about being intentional with your money. Intentionality is the thing that matters. What can you decrease? It doesn't matter if you can pay it in full. Why do you want to pay top dollar? Like I have people look at their at their phone bills. There's some credit cards that if you pay your phone bill through that credit card, they will cover your phone insurance. So if it gets damaged, anything else, they're going to cover the cost of that. You then don't have to carry that coverage on your phone bill. So it doesn't matter whether or not you can pay for it. It matters, do I need to? Right? So it's not how much money you pay out. It's like how much can you keep to in order to be able to do the things and live the life that you want to live. So decrease or eliminate whether your net monthly cash flow is in the negative or the positive. And then the third thing, are you mad? Right? Especially if you've done this and your number is negative. If you've subtracted your total monthly expenses from your net monthly income and you came up with a, a negative number or an even number, or you got just a little bit more money coming in than you have going out, how you feel about that? Are you mad? Meaning it's time for you to make a decision? Are you upset? Are you tired? Right? So I- set up a financial checkup. There's a register the link to schedule one. I'm sorry, the link to schedule a financial checkup with me is in the description. It has been said 30 minutes with Crystal will change your life. Have a conversation and listen. Somebody's going to say, well, if my money is negative, right? How am I going to pay for that? You paying for everything else, right? So don't use that as an excuse to not get the help you need. You may not be able to do full coaching. There's some things that you can give up, right, in order to get you where you need to be. Remember, my client came to me, she was $1,000 in the hole. It did not stop her from saying, I need to pay you this because I don't know how to get out of this mess. I don't know how to fix it. So if you don't have what you need, if you say, well, I can't commit to full coaching, at least schedule a financial checkup. Let's talk about that thing for an hour. I can give you some directions in that hour that you can do immediately to help move you along on your path. Don't sit there and keep doing the same thing. That's just the biggest piece. I say oftentimes when you are sitting in the middle of the thing, you can't always figure your way out of it. It's not because you're not intelligent. It's not because you don't know whatever it is. You don't know what you don't know. And two, you can't see your way out of it when you're sitting in the middle of it. Because when you're sitting in the middle of it, especially if you come back in those numbers, you got the negative number, right? Fear, anxiety, stress, all of that kicks in. Survival mode. And so you start thinking about, like, how do I do this thing right now? How do I do this thing right now? And you then start doing things that don't benefit you and don't help you, just why you need the direction, right? People are like, I hate when people say, and the reason that I hate when people say it is because they wind up doing themselves more harm than good. Ooh, let me fix some things before I come see you. Listen, if you could have fixed the things, you would have already fixed the things, right? You can't fix the things, and it's okay. But stop continuing to go downhill because you won't be honest, because you won't get the help you need, because you're embarrassed, ashamed, whatever that is. Put that to the side, right? Put that to the side. That doesn't matter. What matters is you being able to get out of the situation that you need, and sometimes you need help. So schedule that financial checkup with me for an hour, and let's just do a quick strategy to get you to where you need to be. It's not a lot of personal healing that happens in that. It's not us going through and being able to set up an efficient and effective budget, but sometimes I can tell you some things that you need to do to patch the hole in the boat that the water is coming in and you're sinking. You know what I mean? Or give you some ideas because you don't know, or even to be able to be creative, because sometimes we got to do things that are creative in order to be able to get us to where we need to be. So make sure you schedule that. Right. And if this information has been helpful, please subscribe to my channel. Be sure to turn notifications on so that you don't miss a training. If you are in need of personal or business strategy, let's talk about it. Go to Crystal L. Gunn to schedule a consultation, or go to one of the links better yet, go to one of the links that are in the description, because I have different links for different things. It makes me be able to better prepare for you, but it also allows you to prepare for that consultation, because depending upon which one you schedule for, it's going to give you a list of either questions or things that you need to make sure you have when it's time for that consultation. Always, 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 always remember, give yourself some grace. You don't know what you don't know. There's a whole lot going on in the world right now. We are out of balance. All of the things that are making it really, really hard for people to even get by, right? So give yourself some grace. Don't beat yourself up about it. Keep striving. Don't stay in the same place that you are today, though. Reach out. Do what you need to do in order to get. No, let me not say it that way. Because doing what you need to do in order to survive is survival mode, and it doesn't do you any good. So don't do what you need to do to survive. Get with me or some other financial coach and create a strategy to get you out of survival mode. Because being and operating in survival mode is part of the problem. So never give up on you. Invest in you. I promise you, it is the best decision you will ever make. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you next time. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your time. Be sure to join me for the private online Q&A immediately following. The link is in the description. And if you haven't done so already, please be sure to subscribe to my channel and turn notifications on so you never miss this opportunity. Thank you again, and I will see you on the other side.